Welcome to Unforbidden Truth. I'm Andrew. Today I'll be speaking with convicted murderer Reyna Mercado. If you go back a few months, you can find my interview with convicted murderer Anthony Pitts. This is one of Anthony's co-defendants. On August 9th, 2017, Makiya Walls was tragically killed when a man with a shotgun approached her family's house on Monaco Drive in Victorville, California at approximately 8:23 p.m. The assailant, later identified as Anthony Pitts, fired 4 shots into the front living room window before escaping in a getaway car with 2 women, which were Reyna Mercado and Danielle Cummings. Anthony Pitts was sentenced to 50 to life for the shooting. Reyna Mercado and Danielle Cummings were convicted of first-degree murder and both received a 25 to life prison sentence. Here's my interview with convicted murderer Reyna Mercado.
You have a prepaid call from
Reyna.
an incarcerated individual at the Central California Women's Facility, Chowchilla, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
My name is Reyna Mercado, and I was born and raised in San Bernardino, California.
So can you recall any positive memories that stick out to you from your childhood?
Okay, yes. Well, growing up, I had my nana, who I got to travel with a lot, back and forth to Cambria, California, because she had children that lived out there. She wasn't a blood relative, but she helped take care of me because my mom had an addiction problem. That's where I kind of got introduced to going to beaches, and I got most of the things that I needed as a kid from her. And then she ended up passing away. I had to go back with my mom. I went back and forth with my mom and her on my vacations. When school was out, I would go with her. And as I got a little bit older, things kind of died down to be in more of the fun life, going places and stuff like that, because my mom, she was unable to afford those types of things.
So can you recall any negative memories that stick out to you from your childhood?
Yeah, I have more negative memories than I would positive. Like I said, my mom was a heroin addict. She was an alcoholic, and she also smoked sherm. And I have 3 older sisters who have their own father. Then there's me, who I have my own father, but I do not know, never knew a day in my life. Then I have a baby brother. We're 6 years apart, who has his own father. And a lot of the time, I pretty much raised myself. I pretty much had to take care of my baby brother because my mom was either passed out or gone. I experienced a lot of neglect, not so much physical, but just living in a, oh, well, I don't care type of setting. Like, whatever you do, do it. Just don't mess up my income by not going to school. There was times she told me all I had to do was go to school for 30 days just so she can get her money and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, I love my mom. It's just I pretty much raised myself, and I don't know my father. And yeah, that's. I remember having to go get my mom from many different of her friends' houses and helping sober her up by giving her milk and trying to bring her home, and her complaining about her rent money being gone, and she dozed off wherever. My older sister Lisa ended up getting married and having children, and that was kind of our safe house. When my mom felt that I was acting outraged, running away, and just not wanting to be home because of the way things were, she would kind of put me on a punishment by sending me to my sister Lisa's house, where I knew things were a lot more put together. I had to do a lot of chores and things like that that I just, as a kid, a preteen and teenager, did not want to do. That's pretty much the basics of everything.
So that was the negative memories. What about any childhood abuse or trauma? Did you suffer any type of childhood abuse or trauma growing up?
Yes. I can say now that I'm learning more things today that neglect is very, very something that a young child can drag into their adulthood. Abandonment. Not too much physical. She was just too down to, I guess, whoop us, but we got whoopings here and there, but they weren't over abusive. I don't remember.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I don't remember feeling the love that she said that she had for me. I would just break it down and say a lot of neglect, like an abandonment.
Okay. All right. So what was your behavior like at home growing up? Going back as early as you can remember, like how did you behave at home growing up?
I followed the rules. Thank you. I followed the rules as much as I can. My mom, I've always had an attitude. I got it from her. She, let me see, how can I say this? I was rebellious. I didn't want to listen to somebody who didn't care to be listened to. I never wanted to be home. I always wanted to run away with my friends. I always wanted to go to little parties that were around the way, because I love music and I love to dance and stuff like that. And back then they had a lot of like crump dancing and stuff like that. And she always tell me I can't go. I have to stay home and watch my brother. I was a mom young, even before I had children, a caretaker, shall I say. But on the flip side, I think I tried my best with not being told right from wrong and just having to basically figure it out on my own.
Okay. So same question except for school. What was your behavior like in school, focusing more on your middle school and high school years?
Oh, middle school and high school sucked for me. I got picked on a lot because I kept to myself. I'm not the type of person who...
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I attract people because I do have a big sense of humor. And I have a bright spirit. I won't lie about that, but I didn't want to be around people. I didn't trust people. I didn't know people. I never wanted to go to school. I didn't like it because I couldn't teach myself, and my mom couldn't teach me the things I needed to know. So because of to avoid the embarrassment of having to raise my hand and continuously ask how to do this, how to do that, I just kind of avoided just even being there. I ran away a lot. I guess I was a teenage track star. I never wanted to be anywhere. My friends that I had were like family, and it's crazy because in particular person I'm talking about is my co-defendant, Danielle. Her mom took me in at a time, too, when my mom didn't want to send me to school with no new clothes and stuff, and that's how that became at about the age of 11, 12, middle school. So about 12, 13, she kind of started looking out for me, her mother, and her family, so that became my second family. There was a time where I did have to go to school because when I was under her care, she had more of a set program going on, like, no, you're going to get up, you're going to go to school if you're going to be here, and I wanted to be there because I felt safe over there. And so I did go to school for a period of time, but every time I was back with my mom or under her care, I didn't take school serious. And I had to fight a lot because my mom she approached me one day. Well, I had hair. I'm mixed. So the girls would pull my hair, and I would try to avoid walking away from them. So I got tired one day, and I told my mom, like, I don't want to go to that school anymore because they're picking on me. They're pulling my hair. They're pulling my barrettes out of my hair. They're pushing me. They're knocking my folder out of my hands. I just don't want to go, and I didn't know what should I say? I didn't know what I didn't know how to fight. I didn't know how to defend myself. So she got me up one day, my mom did, and told me, me and you are going to have a fight. And I said, me and you? And she was like, yeah, you're not going to be getting pushed around and stuff. You're going to stand up for yourself. You're going to learn how to, and you're going to learn how to now. And if you come home beat up, I'm gonna whoop your butt. I'm like, wait, what? Oh, okay, well, okay. So she kind of had me, she tried to teach me how to defend myself. So the next time it happened, I ended up fighting back, hitting back, and I'm not going to lie, I wasn't so bad at it, and that's when I started getting left alone. So I just always had an attitude, and then at that point I knew I can fight, and I wasn't getting it picked on anymore when I found myself to be more rude towards people. Like, just leave me alone, don't want to talk to you, get away from me. But I don't walk around, I've never, ever, because I was bullied, I didn't walk around and just pick on people. When they picked on me, I responded, and my response, they ended up leaving me alone. Because I do look quiet.
Did you engage in any criminal activity as a juvenile?
No, I was never involved in anything. No gangs, never chose to do any of those things. They were around, and I just, thank God
You have 60 seconds remaining.
I made a choice to, because I'm so rebellious and don't want to listen to nobody, I felt that I'm not going to listen to some street that's going to tell me what to do and when to do it. It's already, I have that problem with my mother, but I chose not to just do that, and I was really into music and dancing and stuff like that, so I kind of put that as this is what I want to do. But no, I've never had any juvenile problems with the law.
Did you engage in any type of criminal activity as an adult prior to the case you're serving time for now?
I got into trouble behind my children's father when I was 18 years old. I got my first place, and my children's father was selling weed, and me and him were not getting so much too along, but I guess the police were looking for him for some type of robbery, and that they were trying to say that it was the Burger King that I worked at, and it was me and a few others that got fired. And to be honest, they didn't know who did what to them, but they were looking for him. They felt like maybe it would have been me who sent him over there. And on every last child that I own, I never did so, but they had to find out in a different way, which when they came to my house to look for him and arrest him, they found weed on him, and due to the fact that that apartment was in my name, it was my house, I was held responsible for having the marijuana inside the house, and they arrested me for possession of marijuana for sales. And they gave me 3 years of probation, which I went flying colors through it. I don't remember. I was supposed to do some work release, and I chose not to go out and do work release because I was pregnant with my second child. So I think I did like 15 days in the county jail that basically took over the work release so I can get that out the way. And that was pretty much it. I graduated my probation, and I never tried to cross the law path again prior to this, and I didn't. not even a traffic ticket.
Before we talk about the case that you're in prison for now, can you tell me how you met both of your co-defendants, Danielle Cummings and Anthony Pitts?
Okay, Danielle Cummings, I met her at a very young age. Like I had said, we were friends, we were neighbors, and there was we grew up with the little dancing and all this stuff, and we would go to house parties and stuff like that. So we ended up becoming close. Those were basically my only friends at the time, and then due to my mom and her addiction and the things that she did,
this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
when I would go spend the night at her house, I just would ask her mom, like, can I live here, and she's like, no, baby, you have your own place. I'm like, but I don't like my house. So there was a time where she talked to my mom and said, my mom was like, I can't control her. She doesn't listen. She always runs away. She was like, well, let her come stay with me for 30 days, and I'll send her to school, make sure she gets some new things. Then that became pretty much my second family. Me and Danielle had our first child a couple months apart. We both started liking her. She has other sisters that I'm really close to too. I know they're not involved, so I won't talk about them, but we started liking boys around the same time. We started doing a lot of things around the same time in that sense, and then we ended up losing contact because our family started expanding, and we tried to have, our own places and our own children, and we just kind of departed that way. And after, when I had a new baby and I had a baby shower or something like that, she would come around, her and her sisters would come around and meet my new baby, and I would do the same to her. I would go, oh, you're having a baby? That's so cute. Da, da, da. Now, the way I met Anthony is through her, and I was having a very hard time. My children's father, at this time, I had all 5 of my children by then. I was living in a place I couldn't really afford it. They were having a infestation that I wanted to leave. So she told me, hey, why don't you, she had moved out of San Bernardino, because she's lived in San Bernardino her whole life too. She moved up to Victorville or Adelanto, which is a very cheaper housing. She told me, hey, sister, it's very cheap up here. You should come up here, this, that, and the third. I said, okay, well, I'll go check it out. I went out there, started looking. I did see that it was cheaper. I started applying for places. She told me I could come stay with her, and when I went to stay with her, I did feel like a burden because I do have 5 children. Children, it's not as easy as it was when we were younger, when I'm just coming with my little backpack and, sleeping bag. That's when I ended up running into Anthony, and she said, this is my child's dad to my youngest son. I said, okay, hey, how are you? And he seemed like I was, like he didn't want me there. So I ended up talking to her mother, which is Nadine, and I asked, can I come stay with you for a little bit? But I didn't know that her and Anthony were going through the things that they were going through, the domestic violence. I didn't know that there was another man involved in Danielle's life. I didn't know those things at that time. So I took it personal, and I was like, well, I'm going to go stay with Mom for a while till I get a place. And then I ended up getting my own place. So that's how I ended up meeting Anthony in 2017. Literally like a month or 2 before all this happened.
So let's talk about the crime you're in prison for now. You're serving 25 to life for first-degree murder and the shooting death of 12-year-old Makiya Walls. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So can you talk me through everything that led up to the shooting and what the aftermath was that followed everything?
Well, there was, Danielle needed a place to stay. I let her come stay with me after I got a little bit settled out from what I was just recently saying about me being homeless and stuff and moving up to Adelanto. So I let her come and stay with me. As she was there, I tagged her, and we ended up cooking this in particular night. We ended up cooking, me and her, and then we ended up making. We had decided to go sit and chill on the porch and drink a little bit and did have like a girls' night after we had already had put the kids to sleep and cooked for them. So I had tagged all that into a Facebook post, and I also added Danielle into the post. From what I could remember, Maisha found Danielle somehow through that post and hopped on the Facebook and started.
When you say Maisha, are you talking about Makiya?
No, I'm talking about Makiya's mother.
Oh, okay.
So basically, semi of a breakdown. Makiya's mother, Maisha, had a fiance named Chris. Chris was having infidelity issues with Danielle. Chris and Danielle were seeing each other behind the curtain, basically. Chris knew that Anthony was involved in Danielle's life, and I guess Danielle knew that Maisha was involved in Chris's life, but they decided to have what they claimed to be a platonic relationship. I didn't really know much about all that at the time.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Yes, we're sisters and we're girls, and I was in an abusive relationship, so she would just tell me how she's ready to leave Anthony. She's tired of him abusing her. She's tired of this, that, and the other. No, I did not give her the best advice to say, go run and call the police, or if he does this to you, go, because I literally was just in my own abusive relationship with the father of my children. So I kind of shined that on. I didn't give it much energy. I kind of left that alone. After the Facebook post was posted, I guess that's how Maisha found out that I was the sister of Danielle, and her and Danielle have been having a back and forth argument for, don't quote me, but I want to say maybe a month, a couple weeks. I'm not too sure how long it was going on. Danielle informed me somewhat about, oh, you know the new guy I told you I met and makes me happy and da-da-da-da, and I said, yes. Well, I found out he has a baby mom and all these things, but he's trying to leave her and I'm trying to leave Anthony, and that was just the basics of what I got out of that. And I didn't know that she, I did know that she got Danielle kicked out of her place. That's why she came and lived with me. There was some type of situation where she went to the house, met up with Anthony, ended up knowing where the place was. Her is Maisha. Went and took pictures of Danielle's apartment, reported it to Section 8, reported it to the manager, ended up getting Danielle evicted out of the place. And that's how Danielle ended up moving with me. Not too long after she lived with me is when the Facebook thing came up. It was me, Danielle, and a neighbor of mine. We were hanging out on my porch, and we thought that it would be cute to reply to Maisha and carry on with this argument, this back and forth. I'm coming to your house to beat you up. No, I'm coming to your house to beat you up. You're not going to do nothing. Fat, ugly girl, this, that, and all these things. I do hold responsibility. It is my Facebook. But that night, my Facebook was passed around amongst all three of us. So there was a few things that were said that were inappropriate, completely disturbing on both ends. There was never, on my behalf, Reyna, me, ever said that I wanted to kill anyone. I wanted to see someone dead. It was not that serious on my behalf. I don't know this woman. I didn't know. It was just a petty argument, and we took it as a joke at the time, like, she said she's coming over here, then I want to see this happen, okay, and she's taking pictures of my kids, posting them, saying they look retarded. I'm like, whoa, lady, like, you're mad. And I guess when I get upset, I can cap on someone, which means I gotta watch my words because they get turned around. But what I'm saying is more is like clown them. You know, say that they look like a silverback, thick-skinned gorilla or whatever, just to hurt people's feelings, and it's not okay. But I do it, and I did it. And the Facebook was getting passed around amongst us three girls, and we thought it was a big old joke to say whatever we were saying and threatening people in the sense of beating them up and coming to their house while they're doing the same. Everything that was being said was basically repeated on both parties. Nothing was okay on both sides. No, I should not have. I didn't know that anything would go, that would be taken anywhere at that moment. So I didn't watch what I was doing. I didn't say, hey, this is my Facebook. If something happens, it can fall on me. Or, hey, I don't want to write any more messages. Or, hey, I did end up blocking the lady. I took the initiative and I said, look, lady, to Maisha, like, you got your man. He's at your house. Let's let this go. Leave everybody alone. And I ended up blocking her that night. That night, everything went dead. It was over. It was over with. After I blocked her, it was just literally looked at as a lot of girls talking shit back and forth to each other with no action behind it. There was a couple days after that, I had to go. Okay, well, real fast, let me back up. I had to go to Vegas, and I paid my neighbor, the same one that was chilling with.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
The same one that was chilling with us that night, I paid her to watch my kids while I went to Vegas to pick up my niece because we went to a Chris Brown concert the week before, and my niece met a guy and ended up staying out there with him. So she wanted to come home. She was living with me also, and I said, okay, I'll come out and get you. Let me go handle a few things, and I'll drive out there and get you. Okay, so my plans on Wednesday, August 9th, 2017, was to go to Vegas, go to get my children some clothes, because mind you, I said I just transitioned up to, so I had to redo schools, I had to redo doctors, I had to redo everything. So it was a new school year at the time. A new school year was going to start, so I said, we're going to go, me and you, Danielle, we're going to go get the kids some clothes. Just to hold us over until we go drive out to LA and get some other types. The kids wanted to go to the garment district. I promised my kids I would take them there. So I told them, hey, we'll just go to DD's. We'll go to one of these little T-shirt shops around here. I don't know where I'm at really. I don't know everything that's up here. We'll go somewhere up here, get you some things to hold you over for a couple of days for school. And when the weekend comes, we'll go out to LA and you guys get all your little nice things. Okay. So that day we decided to go out and to WFS. We went and got them some shoes. Then the T-shirt store was closed that we went to, so we ended up seeing Ross and DD's. We decided to go to DD's just to grab some T-shirts and underwears and socks and little side stuff like that just to get them over a few days. I had Makiya stayed home. I had Michaela, Tamara, Tomaj, and Tommy with me. Those are my children. Danielle had baby Anthony, which is her and Mr. Pitts' child they share, her niece, and her two older daughters with her. So we're all in the store. We're shopping, having a normal day. She gets a phone call from Chris, and I guess we were split up in the store, me and her at the time. She gets a phone call from Chris, and she comes up to me and she says, hey, I think we should leave. And I said, why? She said, just because I guess Maisha's seen us and she's coming up here with a whole bunch of girls to jump us. And I said, okay, we have the kids. And she was like, that's what I'm saying. I think we should leave. I'm like, all right, well, come on, let's go check out. I get to the checkout line. As I'm in the checkout line, mind you, I never seen this woman a day of my life. I'm in the checkout line. The lady's scanning my items. 3 girls walked up to me. One of them was wrapping up their hair, and she made a comment and said, what did she say? So so what's up? Or are you still talking shit or something in that, what's all the shit you were talking on Facebook or something to me and Danielle? I said, who are you? And she was like, I'm Maisha. And I said, okay, whoop-de-woo, Maisha. Like, we have kids with us. You want to fight? I'm not afraid to fight anyone. Every day that I sit in a prison, I am getting that out of my head. But growing up, I've never been afraid to fight someone. But I do not act ignorant in front of my children. They've never seen me lash out or act that type of way. So I'm like, I have my kids with me. Are you serious right now? And she's like, yeah, you was talking all that shit. You guys had all that shit to say. So I'm like, okay, well, how about this? Can I put my kids in the car, and then we can go out in the parking lot and fight if you must. And she said, okay, well, hurry up. I'm like, hurry up. So now I'm very irritated. I'm very angry. I'm upset. Like, what is this about? Like, okay, this is crazy. So I told Danielle, call the police, because at the end of the day, we have our kids with us. This is not going to work out. Like, I'm afraid something might happen to my kids. I'm not about to do this. Like, call the police. So I'm sitting there I'm very upset, and I'm like, hey, she told us 1,000 times. She gave us her address numerous amounts of times on Facebook telling us to come over there. How about this? How about we just go over there and fight her? Like, I'm going to go to her house and fight her. Now it's at a porch. Oh, she made a comment and she said, I don't care about your kids. I'll kick these little raggedy motherfuckers in their face. And I said, what? Okay, this is getting way out of hand. You're not going to touch my kids. And if you want to fight, we can fight all day. I don't care about that. But at this point, ignorance has overstreamed my mental process to think, and now I'm just thinking of...
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Okay, she wanted us to go over there so bad the other night. At this point, I'm ready to go over there and fight her, because we're not doing this every time I go to a store out here. She's going to, she's from out here. I'm not. I don't know where to go and where not to go. I don't know who to stay away from. I'm not going to be watching my back. I don't live that type of life. I don't have enemies. I don't have people looking after me, watching me, following me. I don't do that. And then I'm everywhere I go, unless I'm clocking into work, and I stay with the job since I was 17 years old, I have my kids with me. They are the only place they're not with me is at work. So I've been a single mother pretty much my whole, since I was 17 to 28. Still to today, I feel, but hey, I got arrested at 28. Also, we leave the store. Okay, so loss prevention gets involved. The manager and Maisha know each other well. They're texting each other, and the manager is not helping call the police or anything. We do. We call the police. The police tell us they're busy, that I'm going to have to wait, or this, that, and the other. Okay, whatever. So I am upset. So I'm a very loud-spoken person. Anyone that you've ever met, you can ask, hey, where's Reyna's volume at? And they're like, oh, my goodness, she ate speakers for breakfast. I'm telling you, she's just loud. Like, it's not so much to be like, I'm angry, I'm loud. I'm happy, I'm loud. I'm just a loud person. Like, I am. That's just me. I don't know. So I'm upset in the store, and I'm like, no, fuck this. I'm irritated. Like, this lady is, doing too much. She got you kicked off the place. She's saying she's coming to my house. She found me on Facebook somehow, some way, through you. She's threatening the kids. She's pulling up on us while we're shopping with children. Like, this is overwhelming, and I think we got to give her what she wants. She wants to fight so bad. Let's just fight her. Maybe that'll keep her away. I don't know. So we go. Okay, the loss prevention tells us you guys are not going out there. There's too many of them out there. They're surrounding your car. They're going in and out the store, barging in and out the store. I'm trying to do the right thing by staying in the store and wait for the police because we have the kids, but I am getting frustrated because it's a frustrating setting. There was a man that came up to me and said that, he has my back, he won't let nothing happen if we do end up fighting, because you do have kids, which I said, I appreciate that because it looks like that's what this is going to result in, a fight in a parking lot. So I keep on trying to tell them, let me out of the store, let me out of the store. They're like, no, you have to stay in the store. The police should be on their way. Danielle called the police. Danielle said, no, they're not on their way. They're not going to come or whatever. I'm like, how are we going to get in the car? So there was a lady behind me and said, ma'am, I understand your frustration. Give me your keys. Which one is your car? I'll pull your car up to the front of the store for you, and you can put the kids in the car to keep it, in a quick, safe thing. I said, okay, cool. I gave this stranger that I've never seen or met in my life my car keys, and she pulls my vehicle up in the fire lane at the DD's discount store. I go outside. The other loss prevention man says, I think they're all gone. They all left the parking lot, this, that, and the other. I said, okay, cool. Thank you. Okay, sorry. I had to grab my belongings from a friend of mine. Thank you. Sorry. Anyway, so I leave. We get outside. I open the doors. I throw all the bags in the car. I throw all the kids in the car. I'm like, just get in the car. Put your seatbelts on. Just get in the car. We got to get out of here. So I don't see anybody coming after me or us. So I get in the car and I leave. I tell Danielle, call that lady. Call her. She wants a cat fight. She's going to get one from me because this is ridiculous. Call her. Call her. And so Danielle was already calling her and telling her, like, what is your problem? Like, this is what you do? Like, we have kids with us. Like, nobody wants your boyfriend. Like, you can have him. Like, I've already told you thousands of times. Like, it's all this boyfriend-girlfriend stuff that I'm not even involved in. And when I got back to I ended up texting Maisha and saying, oh, you did that. It's my turn. In the sense of, okay, you came and you showed your ass and you approached me to fight and had me all, like thinking that I was scary and all this stuff. Like, you came up to me, now I'm going to come up to you. We're going to fight. This is what you wanted. This is what you've been asking for. I'm down for it at this point. Now you're being way too disrespectful. You're doing too much over somebody that's at your home with you. Your man is with you at home. I don't understand your problem. Like, you're fishing for nothing. Like, you're doing all this for nothing. But anyways, it was the fact that she disrespected my kids and me. It was really bad. So I was upset. I went home. When I went home, I still, mind you, had a scheduled trip to Vegas in my schedule. I go home. My kids are like, Mommy, and telling my older son, like, Mommy, and these girls are trying to fight Mommy and all these things or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I'm okay, though. You guys are okay. We're okay. We're home now. So I pulled out the chicken and get ready to cook dinner. I let the situation die down inside me, because I was upset at the DD's. Everything was dying down. Anthony was supposed to come pick up his son because it was me and Danielle going to Vegas. I already had my babysitter, and I guess Danielle and Anthony made some type of deal for him to take his son with him wherever he was going, and from there. So I get home. I take the chicken out. I'm going to finish my night. I'm still going to go to Vegas. I was still going to I put in my head, if it was that easy for her to come and find me or look for me in that one space, I'm living out here now. I'm going to be out here. So therefore, it'll happen again. We'll run into each other again, and we're going to end up fighting whatever. That's already set in stone pretty much from the both of us agreed and all the things. So I let that go for the moment. Danielle comes up to me in the house and says, Anthony's here to pick up the baby. I'm going to go take him and his stuff, take him and his things. Oh, thank you so much. Down to him. I said, okay. So I'm upstairs washing clothes, taking clothes, folding clothes, taking the new clothes out for the kids, showing them what I got them, and all the things. The next thing I know, Danielle comes up and says, oh, no, I apologize. I went downstairs to my laundry room because the laundromat was kind of, it was a apartment complex, so you know how they have them away. I'm walking, and I see her and Anthony outside in the parking lot arguing. And he's at the top of his lungs yelling at her, and he's like, hey, Reyna, come here. And I'm like, yeah, what happened? He like, what happened at DD's? And I'm like, man, nothing. Like, these bitches was just talking shit. I was just telling them, like, they was over there running out their mouth. They pulled up trying to fight us. We had the kids. We ended up leaving. Nothing. But I'm going to fight him when I see him. It's, and that's the comment I said to him. He's like, he's really upset. He's like, you want to know why they keep doing this to her? it's because she's still messing around with the girl's guy or whatever, with Chris. She's still messing with Chris, and Danielle's like, I'm not messing with Chris. So now they're having their own little personal argument about that. So I walk away, go get my clothes. I ask Anthony, hey, whatever you do, don't put your hands on her out here. I don't need the police here. I just moved into here, these apartments. I don't need no drama over here. I just got here. But, whatever you guys were going to do, I couldn't stop that. So I walked to the laundry mat, came back with the clothes, went to go take them upstairs. That's when I started separating clothes and folding clothes. That's when Danielle walked up to me. She had tears in her eyes, and she was like, he wants me to go fight her. And I said, I said the stupidest thing that I could have ever said. And I said, I honestly think that you need to fight her. The minute you fight her, she's going to feel like you're not a punk, that like she's going to keep harassing you until you respond to her. Like, and you fight her. That's what she wants you to do, so just do it, like, already. And she was like, well, will you go with me? Like, are you going to? I said, I'll go with you. I thought that it was across the highway because of the whole incident that happened in Danielle's apartment, that the lady came to her apartment.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Oh, this is going on, huh? Anyways, Anthony, I go downstairs. Anthony's like, I'm going to go with you guys because I know Chris was involved and all the things. So I figured Anthony was going to, meet up Chris while the girls fought. I didn't think nothing of it. Anthony always, the times that I've seen Anthony, he always has this duffel bag with him. He played some sort of football for some league. I have no idea what it is. It's because he's not a teenager, but he's not an NFL player either. So they had some middle ground of football that tried to keep the gang members off the streets. I guess I found that out later. I don't know. But I do know that he played a lot of football, that he was a football player. So he always had this. Mind you, he's homeless because they moved out, and he can't live with me because my children's father was in prison, and he wouldn't have had that. Okay, so she came upstairs. She got me. She told me to go. Oh, yeah, Anthony always has, every time I've seen him, especially after we had a nephew on Danielle's side who ended up getting hit by a car and passing away, and he would come over there going crazy on Danielle, and he had this duffel bag with him. I figured, my assumption to it was that he is homeless. They got kicked out of their place, so he walks around with his personal belongings. Mind you, he plays football. I thought that's what they do. They walk around with their stuff in a bag like that. I didn't think much of it, but he said he was going to go with us, that he was, I know Chris was involved, so my assumption was, okay, the guy for the guy and the girls for the girl. I don't know. The dumbest decision I've made in my life is to go fight somebody for the pettiest reason. But at the time I went, we drove over there. Danielle tried to tell Anthony that the car wasn't there. The car that pulled up to Dee Dee's wasn't there, that they're not there. The drive over turned into I'm going with you guys to make sure you guys are okay, to Danielle, this is all your fault. I should just these threats. He was threatening her. And I'm sitting in the car like, wait, what is going on? He was like, this B, it's all her fault, and she wants to run around and be a hoe and do this with this person, and look at all the drama she's causing, and he's just going off.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I'm like, okay, look, what we're not going to do is we're not going to argue and blame Danielle. We're not going to do all that right now. I'm trying to focus. I don't know where I'm going. You guys are supposed to be telling me where I'm going. You're yelling in the back seat, threatening her, pushing her all in her head. I don't want to see all that and do all that. Let's just go get this over with, this fight, and let's go. And that's it. And you guys could deal with your guys' domestics without me sitting here in the car or whatever. So, okay, long story short, we get over to the address. We pull up to Maisha's home. They say that the white car that came to Dee Dee's was not there. That's what Danielle said. Danielle's been at this home before. I haven't. So she's aware of what car they used to drive and all these things. I wasn't. I seen a Ford Focus leaving the parking lot and at Dee Dee's, and I assumed that was them, but I wasn't sure if that was them or somebody else just leaving the parking lot after their daily shoppings and eatings in this big old shopping center. So, she told me that they have a white Focus. It's not here. They're not here. So Anthony said, you don't know who's in the house. You don't know what if Maisha's in there? Like, I'm going to go knock on the door, and you're being scary. I know you're not going to get out the car. I know you're going to leave Reyna to do this on her own, to fight this girl on her own, and you better not, and all this stuff, right? He's just going up on her. So she was like, well, I don't want to fight. She was like, I don't want to fight them. I'm not a fighter. I don't want to fight. She's bigger than me and all this thing. He's like, well, what, you need some mace or something? What, you need some pepper spray? And she's like, well, that will probably help. Don't you think? I'm afraid to fight her. That's what Danielle said. So Anthony said, okay, well, if you think they're not here, let's leave, and we'll come back, and we'll see. We'll leave and come back. So he said we're going to go take her to a store to get some mace so she could feel more comfortable to fight, because she wasn't getting out the fight, basically, is what he said. There was no way for her to get out of it. Even if I said I'll do it by myself, he wasn't having it. He was very adamant about her fighting this lady. So he ended up directing me to the direction of Walmart that ended up turning to a Turner's Outdoorsman store. I am not a hunter, never been there in my life, don't shop there on a regular basis, never been there, so this store is different to me. We walk in the store, I see a lot of, from what I remember in the front of my head, I seen a lot of Duck Dynasty, because that used to be my favorite show, like type themes, like jackets and all this stuff. So I'm like, where's the mace at? They sell mace here? She's like, yeah. So the people in the front direct us to where the mace was. Anthony walks off to some other aisle. I'm with Danielle getting the mace, and then hold on. Okay. They're calling me over the speaker. I don't know what for, but okay. Okay, sir. Okay, so I'm going to try to wrap this up. We go picked up the pepper spray. I guess from what I know today, he was purchasing ammunition. He made her buy it at the counter. I walked away from the counter. I'm not trying to make this no better on me, but I truly, if the courts want me just to say I seen, I guess I'll lie and say I seen, but I didn't see what he was doing. I didn't know what he had. Mind you, I don't go to these stores on a regular. I don't know what they hold, sell, and have. I was just looking at the store out of interest of the store. Like, oh, never been here before. What is this? What's that? Oh, whatever. That's where my head was, and that's what I remember where my head was. So what I did was I walked away from the counter. Me and Danielle was like, she did make a joke to me, so we were smiling. She was like, girl. She was like, the lady's so big, because Maisha was a pretty big lady. So she was like, this little mace is going to be like hot sauce to her. She was like, we probably need bear mace. I laughed at that. Like, girl, you is not going to spray this lady with no bear mace, ha, 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 laugh out loud. No, okay? Like, it was just a joke. Like, it's just a regular whatever joke, not knowing nothing was going to happen that serious. So we leave the store. I walk out first. Whatever they purchased, whatever she paid for, I was not a part of that. I didn't loan no money out, didn't do nothing. We get back in the car. We go back over there. He told us what he's going to do was he's going to get out the car and go. He's going to get out the car, go knock on the door, and make sure the girls come out. Tell them, hey, come on, you guys got to come out here and fight them. Y'all want to, threaten kids and pull up on the kids and do all these things. That's what he said. That's what came out of his mouth. We get to the cul-de-sac type of street. I don't remember it. It was set up weird. I'm across the street in my car. And as I'm across the street in my car, I feel the door open up, and the weight of him move, like when somebody moves out of your car, the weight kind of, what do you call that? Kind of moves the car a little bit. I felt him leave out of the car, and within seconds, I heard a gunshot. And I froze up because at that moment I didn't know if these people were shooting at us or what was going on. But right when I realized, I'm sitting in the car, and the next thing I know, he did it so fast that he got back in the car and he just was like, "Drive off, bitch, drive off." I'm like, "Drive off to where? What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Did you just shoot through or shoot?" He's like, "Yeah, I shot through the house so that way Chris knows Chris is gonna come looking for me and then I'm gonna whoop his ass and all these other things and da because Danielle did kept repeating that the car still wasn't back. They weren't there. So in my eyes, I think that he thought nobody was there. I have no idea why he did that. He took us on a we're not getting out of his sight mission because he didn't want us to tell on him. When we got back to my apartment complex, Danielle picked up a post off of Facebook that said a 12-year-old was shot on Monaco Drive. She showed it to me, and I froze and said, "Was that where we were?" And she said, "Yes, girl." And I was like, "Oh, my God, go tell him," because he literally has his gun. He's sitting in the front of the apartment waiting. He's sitting on my car, so we don't go nowhere, waiting for Chris to show up, I guess. Nobody knew that was the result until we came out and told him. Once we told him, "Hey, you shot someone. You didn't just shoot someone. You shot a little girl, a little person." I didn't know if it was a girl or not at the time. But I said, "You shot somebody." He's like, "Man, what? Woo." He starts flipping out, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing right now. I don't know if I should have told him, if I shouldn't have said anything. I don't know." He's like, "Get in the car. You get in the car. We're leaving." I'm like, "Where are we going? Where are we going?" He's like, "I said get in the fucking car. You're about to take me up out of here and all this." I'm like, "Oh, this is good. Like, I want him to get away from me at this point because he's irritating me. Like, I'm about to go report this. I'm gonna say something. I'm not gonna run from this. Like, hell no, that wasn't my intentions. I don't know. I don't get down like this. I don't do this. This isn't my life. No. So I wanted him just to get away from me so bad, and he made me take him all the way to Redlands to his mom's house. I didn't know what to do, Andrew. I didn't know how to respond to the situation. I called the police and told them I need a welfare check on my house. Every thought that went through my head to say, "Hey, call him and tell him this." Right when it was happening, because he threatened us too. He said if we say anything, he's going to kill us. He's told us bluntly to our face and said he doesn't mind it. He don't care. He'll take us from our kids if we say a word. And I'm like, oh my gosh, and it's bugging me because I don't know what to do. I'm afraid at this point. Like, okay, would he find out if I said something or would he not? So he's on the phone. He's on Danielle's phone on speaker the whole time because he told us, like, "Y'all want y'all to still go to Vegas and get your niece." I'm like, "Oh, right. Just still go to Vegas." Like, that's just, oh, sure, okay. So I'm thinking, you know what? This is what we can do. I tell Danielle, I said, "This is what we can do." Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, I'm sorry. It just gets really quiet. I told Danielle, this is what we can do. We can go to Vegas, get my niece, but instead of staying and chilling like we were supposed to, we're going to bring my niece back, have her watch the kids. Once we get the kids out of that house, out of the apartment that he knows where we're at, that's when we can go report this. But right now, I'm worried about the kids and the circumstances of the kids and where they are. And I don't know, I can't leave my kids in this apartment and go to the police because what if he comes back for my kids? Like, no. So that was my little thinking I knew what I was doing plan. I jet off to Vegas. I wasn't there the shooting happened at 8:22, let's say. I was in Vegas after I had to take Anthony to Redlands. That was about 10 o'clock, the 10 o'clock hour. I was in Vegas at 3:40, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was back in California at 6 o'clock. I didn't spend no extra time in Vegas. So the reports are saying that I was there for hours. There's no way because I was at the police station at 7 o'clock in the morning. There's no way. I didn't have a jet plane. I had a Kia Rio. There wasn't no fly fashy foreign car. I drove normal speed. I went out there to try to get my niece, but because she was waiting on us to come party, she got drunk and passed out in the apartment that she was in. I didn't know what door it was because we were supposed to meet up in the front. So I ended up saying, "We can't stay here too long. We got to get back." I turned right around, come back to California, once I crossed the line. Meanwhile, there was periodically, I was on the phone with the detectives. There was periodic moments where I called them and told them, I just need to talk to you guys about what? I don't want to talk about what on the phone. I don't want to tell you on the phone. I'm overwhelmed. This isn't my daily life. I don't do this on the normal. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to say it. I don't know. So he was like, okay, well, come down to the station. Come here, come there. And I'm like, I'm trying. Just where is it? So he tells me where it's at. One of the people, they ended up calling me back a few times, too. Long story short, I passed the state line, and a truck got behind me, and I told Danielle, I think this is the police behind us. I feel safe. And she was like, well, we can't pull over. We can't talk to the police. Anthony's going to find out. I'm like, at this point, Danielle, I don't care what Anthony finds out. I can't do this. Like, I don't know. Mind you, Chris called Danielle's phone also and told him, my daughter, Anthony shot and killed my daughter. I know it was him. Where's he at? Where's he at? So now we're finding out more information through Chris calling and saying, I know Anthony did this, and all these things. So I was aware of what happened at that point. So I said, okay, we're going to...
You have 60 seconds remaining.
I got to do something. I got to do something now. So the police ended up pulling us over right then and there. He told me I can leave, and I didn't leave. I followed him to the police station. They took Danielle out of my car. I went to the police station, and when I went to go start to talk, I was jumbled. I didn't know what to say. I tried to tell them the story. They were asking me way out questions. I lied and said Anthony took my car, and I knew where he was. And then right when I got to where he was and I took him to where he was, I ended up telling them the truth. And they're like, we already knew the truth. I'm like, okay, why? I'm not lying to you guys purposely. I'm freaking out. Like, so basically that sums it all up. I participated at my best ability under my circumstances of not knowing. I didn't lawyer up because I didn't know no better. I actually didn't think that I was going to get in this massive amount of trouble. I figured, okay, I'm going to be in some type of trouble for being involved in this shit, but not this type. And I went to try to be as honest as I could. I was freaking out. Like, my mind was frozen. I couldn't think. I couldn't believe that happened. I have children. I have 5 children. There's no way that I'm just going to take a day out of my week to go intentionally harm someone and just think it's okay and I would have got away with it and lived my life normally. No. That's the part that is just flabbergasting to me, that I just don't get it. Like, I was wrong. I was wrong. I should have never involved. I should have never tried to protect my sister in a fight. I fought for her in middle school and high school. I should have been more grown about the situation. I should have took the time to think about the future, the red flags. My anger at the time just I ignored a few things, because now when I sit back and I look, I'm like, man, maybe I should have, when he started going crazy in the car, maybe I should have just pulled over and said, if you're going to be acting like this, well, I'm not going over to fight nobody, but it's not that, I'm not going to lie to you, Andrew, it's not that easy with Anthony. It wasn't that easy just to say no to him. He wasn't the type that, like, oh, cool, all right, that's fine. You don't want to go? That's fine. We'll just go get something to eat and call it a day. No, he was very serious. He was very adamant. He was sick of mind you, when I was even living in San Bernardino, transitioning up to Adelanto, all this was going on. This had just started. I didn't know he was aware. I didn't know. Danielle failed to let me know that he knew about the whole situation. There was a time when Danielle decided to tell me her business. There was a time and I'm not going to say she was wrong for that. It's her business. Whatever she decided to let me in on, that's what she decided to let me in on. Nobody knew that a killing was going to end it or happen in the long run, or even a fight. Nothing. So the things she told me was the things that she just had a right to tell me, and nobody took it any more serious. No, we didn't take it anywhere. We didn't put any weight on it, because who knew it would have been like this? None of us.
So after the shooting took place, how much time had passed since the 3 of you were arrested?
The shooting took place August 9th at 8:00 p.m. I was arrested August 11th, early in the morning, August 11th, because August 10th at about 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, we were already in the detective's office. We were already speaking to detectives. So as they're doing their investigation, it took them hours. They, on August 10th, they interrogated us until 3 or 4-ish. That's when I said, okay, I know where Anthony's at. I was afraid. I didn't know if he was going to be able to get, I never got to get my kids fully protected. I didn't know if he was going to get his way back up there and do something to them. I didn't know anything, so I was afraid to just tell him like that. And, you know, we all grew up, I grew up knowing you don't snitch, you don't tell. At that point, I didn't care. I was like, okay, well, half of me saying don't do it, half of me saying just do it and get it over with, and whatever happens, happens. So August 10th, at about 4 o'clock, I took the police to Anthony's mom's house where he was arrested. Once he was arrested, I felt so much relief knowing that I didn't know if they were going to let him go or not. I've seen shows that they let people go because they don't have enough of this, that, or the third. I just was hoping they didn't. But I just felt relieved enough to tell them, okay, you guys, I was there. I drove the car. And they were like, oh, okay, well, you know, now it's going further. And I'm like, I want to tell you guys the truth now that he's here because I feel more comfortable. So that took another August 10th from 5, 6, 7, 8. So right about 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, they were already booking us, sending us to the county jail. So it turned into the 11th. So I woke up in the county jail on August 11th. Trying to contact my family. There was no time spent. No one ran from them. No one had a plan, alibi. Nobody had even time. I'm not going to say nobody. I'm going to speak for myself. Reyna, I did not have enough time to put any of that stuff together. I couldn't even gather my thoughts to know what to do. I knew I had to get to the police, though, and that's one thing I didn't let go of. And I didn't avoid doing. Even though they pulled us over, they knew where we were. They knew I was on the Vegas freeway, the freeway to Vegas, because I told them over the phone. They didn't just find me, just magically find me. So there was never no running, hiding on my behalf. No.
So after you were charged, did you go to trial or did you cop out with a plea deal?
I went to trial. And about 8 months into the case, Anthony stood up and said that he did it. We didn't know nothing, that he was going to do that and all this stuff in the courts. Well, one of our attorneys said, well, this may help you guys because there's a new law that says if you weren't the actual shooter, that you don't get charged no more the same way. Well, 2 years after our fight, they sentenced Anthony, got rid of him, and they had us two left. 2 years after, they sat and plotted and tried to figure out how they were going to come up with an intent. Well, because the intent was the part that made the law not qualify for us. So we sat there and fought and fought and fought. I was told that I was going to get manslaughter. I was told that I was going to get accessory to after the fact. I was told I wasn't going to get life because this isn't a life-holding case on my behalf. All these new laws and all these new things. Okay, well, we sat there. One day we went to court, and they said, oh, well, they want to go to trial. I said, they want to go to trial? I don't want to go to trial. They was like, well, you kind of don't have a choice. They're not giving no deals out. So we were pretty much court-wise forced to go to trial. They didn't give us another opportunity or option. And we went to trial, and we lost trial. And we got the lowest term of 25 years to life for the murder of Makiya, and they didn't give us no time on this. They gave us the charge of shooting at an inhabited dwelling also. They didn't give us the time on that. So when we got to prison, our case went to the appellate courts, and the appellate courts sent it back down to the smaller courts and said, no, you have to apply time. So that's where I met you and Des at in the county. I went back down to the county recently in August of 2023, and they gave us the lowest term of 3 years that holds for shooting at an inhabited dwelling because they know we didn't shoot at an inhabited dwelling, so they were nice enough to give us the lowest term. Then they brought us back up here, and I'm currently in an appeal again because I went out to court.
So after you received your sentence of 25 to life, how did you react emotionally in court?
I was shocked. I just was shocked, and then tears started flowing down my face. And
hold on just a second. I'm on a very important call. 1 second.
The officers called me. I was very shocked. I didn't believe it. Yeah. I didn't believe it. I could never. Oh my goodness, my babies, my children. I understand that there was a child involved, and I'm not taking no weight off of that. That means everything to me. I sit and try to keep track of the day of. I pray for their family every time her birthday comes around, every time. I couldn't imagine something like that happening to one of my kids over something like this. But I didn't intend to hurt or harm nobody in that way. No matter what was said, no matter what they try to put together, my heart, no, I don't have that type of heart. I'm not a malicious person. I don't go robbing and stealing from people. Definitely not shooting at people. I'm 35 years old, and I've lived in some of the most dirtiest areas of San Bernardino, where there was just gang members. You had to ask them to go to the store because we didn't know what they had planned that day. And I have never, ever shot a gun to save my own life, ever. So I just didn't know what to do because, like I said, I raised myself. Like, my response to that lady was ignorance. Like, I should have never entertained her. I should have never said nothing to her. It had nothing to do with me. Yes, she was harassing my sister, quote unquote, Danielle Cummings, yes. But the abandonment and things that I grew up with, when I'm close to somebody, I'm really close to them, and I consider them family, and I hold on to them. So I can be a little protective, but not in a sense of taking a life from someone or allowing that to happen. I mean, I'm not going to take no weight off anything, but Anthony put us through a lot of things too. Nothing to equal to what Maisha went through. But I'll never say that nobody deserves anything. But, like, I don't even like saying it, but Maisha didn't help the situation out either. None of us did. We were all wrong. All of us. In my eyes, all of us were wrong. But I take full responsibility. I knew better. I know better. Like, I don't even know what I was thinking. I let ignorance and anger get the best of me for just a quick moment, and it turned into me missing the signs of how big of a tragedy that this could have and did end. The results were, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm ever going to go home. I don't know.
So I know you need to run. So I'll just ask you one more question, okay? Which is is there anything?
I canceled my. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I canceled my ducky. That's what he was calling me for. He wanted to know if I was going or not, and I think that this is more important. And if they
okay.
He'll call for me again.
Okay. All right. That's cool. So since being in prison, have you been diagnosed with any mental illnesses?
Yes. Bipolar. I'm bipolar. I'm on triliptol for personality disorder, mood swings. It all wraps up into just bipolar. I do take my meds, and I just try to learn from this experience. I don't take a day out of my time that I go backwards.
So is there anything you'd like the public to know about yourself or this case?
I'm not this person that they're saying I am. I didn't just go pull up to someone's house and allow someone to shoot and kill someone's baby. I have children. I have 5 children of my own. I do not carry an intent to kill anyone. I do not have reckless indifference to human life. I'm a bright person. I have a good vibe, and if you were to get to know me, I mean, I've met people in here that cry leaving me. I'm a good person, and I'm not just saying this to say this. Like, you could ask my family, my nieces. I'm a good mother. I know how to maintain society. I know how to hold a job, a car, a home. I've owned my own things. I'm not the person that they're trying to put me out to be. And if I was to ever get the opportunity to a second chance, I would prove it beyond point to the world, the courts, and anybody I know that thinks otherwise.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for giving me your time today. I know I've taken up a chunk of your day, but I appreciate it, and I appreciate you getting your side of the story out. Like I've told you before, I've interviewed Anthony, and if Danielle is willing, I'm hoping to get her side of the story so we can, because I know there's always three sides to the story, and in this case there is.
That was my interview with convicted murderer Reyna Mercado. I have a new website. Check it out, unforbiddentruth.com. I have a store set up on my YouTube. If you're looking for extra content and ad-free episodes, head on over to patreon.com/unforbiddentruth. Thank you for listening. See you on the next one.